Good morning, good morning. Happy Monday. Happy holiday Monday, I should say. Get my lights on. Not sure if it's a long weekend for you. It is President's Day in the US, and it is Family Day for some provinces in Canada. I'm just going to share this out to my peeps. And of course, the internet is molasses when you need it to be fast. There. So today we are talking about, this is part 2 of a combo session that I am going to be, I have one more coming up next week. Today is about combining your vibration plate with your infrared or your sauna technology. And it's a really great way to amplify benefits if that's the goal. For those of you that are looking to boost lymphatic drainage, that is what we are talking about specifically today. Hang on. There we go. Okay. So if you are joining me today, you probably got my notification. In the event today, I posted a very short routine that I've been blasting the pages with about boosting or prepping the lymphatic system prior to using your vibration plate. This is also a good idea if you do have sluggish lymph and you are dealing with in any way a compromised lymphatic system. Maybe you've had some surgeries. Maybe you've just got bad varicose veins, or you're dealing with venous insufficiency, or there's all kinds of reasons that our lymphatics and our circulatory system are not working optimally. So prepping the lymphatics first is a really good idea. If you're not doing this already, if you're working with a therapist, they may have nagged you about this. There's lots of people out there talking about prepping the pathways. But I assure you, this is very old discussion. This is something that many of our therapists, certainly our lymphatic therapists, are well versed on. You learn about it in school, but it's prepping your lymphatic system before giving it a rush of circulation and lymph, which happens, we know, on the vibration plate. But it can also happen and be present during other activities. I want to make sure I've got the full screen here. There we go. If you are joining me today, somebody please just let me know if they can see and hear me on the other end. If you'd like to interact with me today and you have questions for me, join me through the main Life Pro group, not the VIP group, but Life Pro Fitness. Their main page is where this broadcast feeds through. So if you did want me to see, or you have a question for me, please put that into the comments. In the event today, I posted a short video done by Jennifer Stewart, a certified lymphatic therapist that I buddy up with and teaches me a lot of my brilliant things. And we're going to prep the pathways while we're seated on the vibration plate. So today I'm using the Rumblex, which I actually turned on for once. Plugged in, not turned on. And the major areas that we're going to focus on, there's 6. And Jen, the video that I prepped posted in the event, and I've been posting in the group, I will repost that here today again. Hello, Melinda. Hello, Judy. Thank you. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to start my ramblings, and I'm going to stand on the plate for the warm-up. If you're not comfortable standing on the plate, you can totally sit with the stool, which you can see I have behind me. I always position my feet functional, so hip width apart. Many of you believe that wider is better for more lymphatic movement. Is running better than walking for lymphatic movement? Wider foot position is more impact. And if you're dealing with lymphatic issues, you're coming from a below baseline place of health, be functional. Knees are slightly bent. There is no perfect setting or speed for lymphatic. Forget everything that you've been told or read, including in your manual. In 20 years that I have been doing vibration plates, the one lesson I hope to convey is that when you move, lymph moves, and a vibration plate makes it easier to move. So we're going to start by prepping the lymphatics. I'm at about speed 30 of 60 on my Rumblex Plus. The first area we're going to target is just sort of behind the earlobes, and we're going to come down. This is not hard pressure. You can rub, you can tap. We're going to stimulate the lymphatics down the sides of the necks and down the neck. And in the video that Jen did for us, there's 15 taps that she does in each area. I'm just doing a rub. So from the ear down to the shoulders. The next area is that collarbone. You can tap 15 times. You can rub slightly. This is not a lot of pressure. Those lymphatic vessels are just below the surface of the skin. Third area, the pits. I'm going to ditch this already. Menopause. Okay, so we're going to take the hands. If you have too much girth here, you can do this one at a time. But I'm going to take both hands. I'm just going to slowly massage the pits a little bit. 15 reps on that. Okay. The next one is the abdomen. So we've started neck, collarbone, armpits, just below, just where the belly button is, just above that with your fingers. And I like putting my fingers kind of like this, and I'm going to push slightly. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So you can see what I'm doing. Next area is the groin. I had a question this morning about activating the groin area. If you've got congestion in any one of these areas, you may want to prep. For my ladies, we're massaging the ovaries, is what it feels like. But just in that pelvis region, you can tap 15 taps, whatever feels good. Okay. Last area, back of the knee. So make sure I did that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sixth area is those meaty pads on the back of the knee. Give them a rub or 15 taps. Okay. Now, a vibration plate, we know, boosts lymphatic circulation, all that lymphatic movement. So many of you may say, well, why do I need to prep before if the vibration machine is so good at moving my lymph? It's your body I'm concerned about. If you have compromised areas, lymph nodes, surgery, scar tissue, there's many things throughout our body that make us mindful. And when people ask about lymphatic drainage, that tells me there's probably something going on with your lymphatics. So because the vibration plate is so uber effective at boosting lymphatic circulation and circulation, you may need to give your body a bit of prep so it can handle the volume. Many of you don't listen to my advice and keep it conservative when you start. You put your feet wide, you go your 10, 15 minutes, and then you wonder why your upper body is ballooned up, or your face or your neck. Those are all signs that your body is moving lots of circulation, but it doesn't necessarily have the capacity for the flow that you're creating through the machine. So short sessions, if you are dealing with varicose, venous insufficiency, anything where you've got compromised blood flow or lymphatics in the legs, keep your sessions short and more frequent. When you move, lymph moves. Okay, so the first exercise we're going to do, if you Google on the internet, great lymphatic exercises. There's seated ones, there's standing. We're going to do a couple of both. So I also am talking about combining technologies today. So I have a couple of infrared ideas. I couldn't bring my box sauna into camera today, but whatever type of infrared technology you are using, for the same reasons that you should prep your lymph prior to using a vibration plate, it's a good idea to get some lymph going before you get into your sauna. So before your sauna, you could do your big old workout if you really, really wanted to. If you're just looking to boost lymph, a couple, 3 minutes. Don't have to do all of these exercises. These are just some ideas. So the first one we're going to do is some shoulder rolls. We're going to go backwards first. And while we're rolling the shoulders, very important to keep the range of motion and the flow from the lower part of our body moving. So we're going to, at the same time, I've done this a million times, foot pumps. So we're going to go up like a baby calf raise. We're going to go back to the heels and lift the balls of the feet. So we're going to do this. You can just sit there if you like, but I think you're going to get a little bit more benefit if you add some movement to it, okay? And do both directions. So I'm going to go forward now for about 10 to 15 reps. Okay, if you feel like extending your arms, making this a little bit more movement, whatever feels good to you. Okay, so the next one I'm going to show you is a seated cat-cow. The seated cat-cow is really good at getting the abdominal area, the core moving. And there's two ways that you can do a seated cat-cow. First option is we're going to just rest our hands on our legs. We're going to lean forward, arch the back up like a cat. Okay, and then we're going to switch and change the position of our back so we're arching the opposite way. Forward, hold, 2, 3, back. Focus on your breathing. Make sure that you are breathing. Okay? I like doing this one just sitting at my chair sometimes. You know, when you've been leaning over the computer a little too much. The next variation's a little bit deeper. You've seen me do this to add some additional upper body lymph, but if you bring the elbows onto the knees, continue that same motion. You're going to feel it a little bit more movement, a little bit more direct. If you have sensitivities in the neck and the shoulders, and by adding your elbows, this is more action than you're comfortable with. It's not the speed. Bring the feet closer to the center to reduce the amount of movement. You're always in control. And a mid-speed, I don't care what studies or hospitals or doctors claim, there is no best for lymph. There's been one study, to my knowledge, in the 20 years that have been done. When we move, lymph moves. So logically, any speed is going to move your lymph. Any movement style is going to move your lymph. What you use is going to be more of a preference based on what feels good to you. So you don't have to do both cat-cows. Those are just options depending on your range of motion. The very last one we're going to do on a seated basis is called a forward fold. So I would angle our toes out a little bit, keep the heels at that original hip width apart position, and we're just going to reach over. You may not be able to go all the way, but I like to reach over, put my hands on the plate, my arms are locked, and then roll back up. One more. 2 to 3 good reps on this one. Back down. Again, you may not have the range of motion. Just go as far as your range of motion allows. Okay? Good posture when you are seated. We want to make sure that core is engaged and, of course, that you're breathing. So we're going to move to some standing exercises. If you have poor stability, you've got a fear of falling, you're just getting started, as I always recommend, have a stool handy. While we're doing some standing exercises, maybe you get fatigue easily and you just want to take a seat. It's a good idea to have this here. If you do want to sit down, or maybe you're doing a combination of standing and seated, maybe you're just standing today, and I'm glad that you're progressing. That is the goal. If you're using your plate regularly, you should progress and be able to stand. Standing is going to give you more long-term bone density results. When we bear our mass, we build our bones. That's how it works. It's not a speed. It's not a level. So the first one we're going to start with is a pelvic tilt. So we're going to go forward. We're looking like this. Okay, just the pelvis, not this. Okay, tilt forward, clutch those butt cheeks, back. Okay, and what we're going to add to this one is a goalpost, which I've also done before, just to get a little bit more upper body movement and a nice stretch into the torso. So up, when we tilt the pelvis forward, try touching those elbows. We're at a good 90 degree. Forward, tilt the pelvis back, try to touch those shoulder blades together, keeping a nice 90 degree on those arms. I've already rambled 10 minutes. Okay. 4 or 5 good reps on that one. Okay, I'm working at a mid-speed. My feet are hip width apart. Okay. Like I say, 3 to 4 good reps on this one. Okay. And for those of you that are looking at combining your sauna with your vibration plate, perhaps lymphatic is part of it, but maybe you're looking to accelerate weight loss. Let's get that heart rate up a little bit. Let's just do some walking. Okay. I'm keeping my toes planted. I'm swinging my arms, okay? So the leg that is on the plate is slightly bent, and I'm just raising up one side at a time, keeping my foot planted. If you feel comfortable and the balance is there, bring those knees up a little bit higher, okay? Just to get some movement going, okay? You could, of course, add a squat, lunges, anything that's going to fire up those quads. Today I want to get a little bit of a cardio lift going on, okay? So maybe a minute of this if you feel comfortable. You know, maybe that was too much and you want to just keep going like this. You've got to gauge where you're personally at in your level of comfort. The king exercise, of course, for weight loss, if that's why you're combining with your sauna, is going to be the squats. So let's turn the squats into a little bit more lymphatic. Some movement. Slow. Okay. You could, of course, move your arms if you want while we're doing this. The more you add movement to the positions you're doing, the more you're requiring your muscles to move your arms, which is what pumps the lymphatic fluid. Last exercise I want to do, if you've never done this, is a toe touch. So we're going to come down. If you're able to, legs are locked here. It's an exception. And then once you come back up, bend the knees about halfway. Okay. I would love to see 3 of those if you're able. Come on down. You're the next contestant. Hold for a couple secs. Midway, bend those knees again. If that's super, super scary for you, I showed you how to do this last week. Turn sideways. Put your heels in the middle of the plate because that's going to be the least amount of movement. Have your stool beside you for a little sense of security. And you can do it this way too. Just till you get comfortable with the position. Okay? If your feet are too far back, it's going to feel like it's throwing you this way. If your feet are too far this way, it's going to feel like it's throwing you backwards. So put those heels dead center so you feel the lift a bit on the balls of the feet. I just want you getting used to doing the position before you make it challenging. Hold, 2, 3. Roll back up. Okay. So let's say I wanted to do my sauna after this. Now I've done my workout. You know, as far as sauna settings, it very much is a personal tolerance thing. If you're not good with heat or you have a condition that's led you to believe, and I say led you to believe very loudly, you know, there's a lot of stigmas out there with certain conditions and you can't do heat and you can't lose weight. My lipedema and lymphedema crowd gets told that a lot, and it's simply not true. Obesity fat can also always be lost. Sometimes we struggle, though, with the body that we're in to be able to do some of the exercises or the things we'd like to do to accelerate that weight loss. So a vibration plate is a great tool. It helps reduce the amount of impact, the amount of time they have spent doing the exercises. So if weight loss is the goal, try focusing on just a couple, warm-up exercises, whether you're doing the prep, a couple of the ones that I've shown you before you get in the sauna. Again, if weight loss is the goal, try adding some squats, just 2 to 3 reps, pushing out those quads, those glutes to fatigue, and then you can do your sauna as recovery. The work and the time that you spent on the vibration plate is going to be a great catalyst. You're going to be all warmed up before you get into that sauna. And if lymph is the goal, I suggest doing another short session after the sauna. So whether I've got a couple of examples here, and this is probably the most popular investment in my group is the BioRemedy blanket. There are more robust models, but this allows, there's no one that can't afford to get into infrared technology with some of the tools that LifePro has come to the market with. This is another example. I use this one every day in some way, shape, or form. The Zen Pro, this is the mini mat. It has pulse electromagnetic field, but also offers infrared. So an infrared isn't always necessarily that big box traditional sauna, but I know many of you that, sometimes budget isn't a problem, and you've got poor mobility or you just lack space. So sometimes selecting a sauna product to go into your self-care routine isn't as much about budget as it, pick something that you see yourself using regularly. So what I like about the mini mat is I sit on it on the couch while I'm doing my posts at night, and I'm getting at least half to 3/4 of an hour there. I love the Bio Remedy because I can lay down on my bed, I can watch my TV, but when I'm done, it folds up and packs away into practically nothing. And I think that's why it's been such a huge win for many of my sauna users. If you're dealing with poor lymphatics, you're dealing with a recovery situation and the mobility maybe isn't there. Sometimes a product where you can lay down, the dome sauna, the blankets, visualize how you see yourself using it, because there's a lot of choice out there. So for afterwards, if you are, you've done your half, 3/4 of an hour sweat session, sometimes depending on the sauna that you're using. So I'll give you an example with the booth. I'm 50 plus and I'm slim and I am starting to develop hip issues. So I like to do a little bit of standing after I've been sitting still in the sauna. If I've been laying down, as much as in a perfect world, I can go straight to bed after I've done my sauna because I'm so waxed. I've usually got dishes or lunches to make or something of that nature for the next day. So I will get on the machine after I've been laying down and just do a squat or a couple pelvic tilts to sort of wake myself up. And any time that you spend on your vibration plate after your sauna treatments is just going to ramp up that recovery, help move more lymph. So if lymph is very stagnant, you've been dealing with issues for a very, very long time, combining these technologies is a great way to ramp up results. But I caution you to be ultra conservative on time. It's very easy to overdo it, not only on the vibration plate, but with the sauna. Make sure you're hydrated, make sure you're getting your rest, make sure you're giving your body the nutrients it needs, salt. There's all kinds of things we don't necessarily think of when we start sweating and exercising. And if lymphatics, as I said, are the main reason you're joining me today, hydrate, and try working in some of that prep work. I think you'll find, not just with your vibration plate, but if you're doing other activities, maybe you've got a treadmill or a walking pad or an elliptical or weights, whatever else you're using with Life Pro, if you do have lymphatic issues, the prep routine that I posted, and I will post again later in the comments, is not a new concept, but it's a short version that I think is very doable. And I think you guys will appreciate what Jen has put together in that. So let me come see who's here. Teresa needs a stool. Everybody needs a stool for the vibration plate. It is just the best way. Not just the best way to use it, but for some of my people, it's the only way they can use it. I like using mine. Sometimes I'll just be clearing my Facebook messages, and I like having my feet, because I sit too much, so I got to keep that lymph going too. And for me, it's winter. It's been, honest to gosh, like minus 30 degrees here for the last 3 weeks. And outside of a lot of shoveling, I'm not getting my normal activities out in the yard with the dogs, the walks. It's just been too bitterly cold. So who's here with me? I see I have Teresa, I have Melissa, and I have Julie. Thank you so much for joining me. Teresa, the stool that I was using today was just a super cheap one that I got at the local hardware store that when they were on sale. If you're going to invest long-term in a stool, something like this that swivels and has an adjustable height is probably the better long-term investment. This is actually this is 2 chairs. This is my Franken chair. The base I had from another chair that I wore the top out of, and this is just a wooden kitchen chair that I found at a garage sale, and I attached them together. So the reason I like the swivel is sometimes I'm dealing with folks that just don't have the mobility, and I can swivel their feet towards the plate. So something that's solid, something that you are comfortable sitting in, because I think once you start using it, you're going to enjoy. Seated use is for those that lack the ability to stand or maybe not weight bearing exercises yet. It's a great way to get those lower extremities going during the day, especially if you do a lot of sitting. The reason I like using a bit of a bar height stool, if that's your primary reason, way of using the machine, is it gets the legs at a good 90-degree angle. You don't want those hips going downhill and long term. It doesn't bother everybody, but I have had a few clients where all they do is use it seated and the feet are wide and the hips have gotten a little sore from prolonged use. So keep that in mind if you are using your plate regularly on a seated and you're not using a bar height stool. Try to get up, do a couple pelvic tilts, something to counteract the downhill motion that you've been using the plate in, and to give those lymphatics the ability to dissipate throughout the rest of your system. I also have Nancy here from Georgia. Hello, Nancy. Thanks for joining us. Julie says, I see lots of comments about people getting itchy on the vibration plate. I've been using mine for a few weeks and haven't had any. Good for you. You're one of the lucky ones. Not everyone does experience itching, but itching is very common. A lot of people say, oh, it's just circulation and lymph increasing, and it is to a degree. The good news is it usually dissipates within a couple of weeks. So if you are experiencing itching, it's very common, general population. I will say if it is severe, some people have very severe reactions, really itchy, looks like an allergic reaction, blotchiness on the skin, hives. My first comment would be, if you're a new user, why are you going so long? These things only occur when you're going the first full 10 minutes. And everybody says, oh, I only went 10 minutes. You're on a plate that accelerates the effect of exercise and reduces the amount of time. So if you're used to doing, nothing before, 10 minutes is a lot. If you're a marathon runner and you're all conditioned, even you are going to experience some newbie stuff. And I recommend, using it more often in shorter sessions starting out. But Julie, don't worry at all if you are not itchy. It's not something everyone experiences. On the opposite end, I was touching on severity. If you're very, very itchy and you're having what feels like an allergic reaction, there's a condition called MCAS, mast cell activation syndrome. It's a little more common than it used to be. If you know you have it, you know you have it. But if you don't know you have it and you have this severe reaction, not just to vibration plates, but it's common with an increase or new activity, MCAS kind of pre-releases, your body has a histamine response to increased activity, and that's where some of the symptoms and the severity of the itch are coming from. For those of you that are dealing with MCAS and know exactly what I'm talking about, take whatever steps you normally would. Maybe it's an antihistamine. There's some remedy treatments, herbal treatments, some natural remedies that you might want to check out, and speak to your doctor. If you're having this reaction and you've never heard of the term MCAS before, please have a discussion with your doctor. And I'll drop a link to my itch video, which actually talks a little bit about MCAS after the fact, just so you have a bit more information on that one, Julie. But yeah, you're one of the lucky few, so be happy. For those of you that have experienced the itch and go, I know what she's talking about, it's also something that can return. So if you've taken a big break, maybe you've gone on vacation or you've been doing other therapies and you're just, getting back to using your vibration plate or your sauna, or you're just combining the two for the first time, sometimes that itchiness creeps back because you've re-engaged in the activity after a long period. So sometimes take a holiday, things like that. So there is no perfect way to combine infrared and vibration plates. What I offered you today, if you're looking at combining from a lymphatic standpoint, we want to pay attention to the lymphatics and make very sure that the increase in circulation and lymph that we're presenting on our body, that our body has the ability or the capacity to manage it. So if you are finding you're a new user and you're seeing intermittent swelling, short-term weight gains, a lot of these are short-term signs that you might be overdoing it a little bit and your body's just not ready yet. It'll improve over time. If you do have areas that are compromised, maybe you've had some nodes removed due to surgeries, really good idea. Make sure that you prep those areas, or maybe even do some exercises specific to targeting those areas, just to give it a little bit of extra care and attention. I want to ask if Nancy, Julie, and Melissa have any questions for me, and Teresa. If anyone has questions, now would be the time. Thank you for the few that have been raised. If you are watching this on a recorded basis, know that it is always recorded. Probably the best place I'm beginning to refer people to more so is the is YouTube. The VIP group is awesome. If you're not a member there, you absolutely should be. And if you're following on other pages, make sure that you're on the official Life Pro pages. I spend many hours in a day answering questions in other groups. And it's great that there's lots of groups, but you're asking very Life Pro specific or training questions. And I would love to be able to be everywhere all the time answering questions. But I had one question that I answered in 4 different places to the same person this morning. So please help out and don't deplete the resources. The Life Pro puts me live, Roseanne live, and Amber live once a week. Follow their official pages. And we do offer spreadsheets for all of the sessions that we've done in the past. It's important that you also know that Life Pro has 20% off right now on site-wide. So many of the items that maybe you've been coveting are on sale. So I would suggest taking a look at that. I've dropped that in the comments. Nancy says, no, I'm just learning more. Stage 3-4 lipedema, age 57, makes my body feel like 77. Nancy, I'm hoping that you're a part of my group. I do have a couple of private Facebooks pages, not for everyone. I'm not here to offer free training all day long. I do have a home life and many people that lean on me for support. So I do have a couple of pages where I try to give you specific information to certain conditions. My fat disorders group specifically caters to lymphedema, lipedema, and there's a lot of related Derkim's disease, Hashimoto's, POTS. There's all kinds of related conditions that intertwine with those. But lymph is the main reason. Most people in my group are using vibration plates, and I've got just about 20,000 members. So there's a lot of benefit. The Fat Disorders Research Society recommends vibration plates as an activity. The advantage that I think a vibration plate brings over any other lymphatic technology out there, whether it's your pump or your massage gun, is that you get the benefit of weight-bearing exercise. I know many of you enjoy the pool. The pool's a great activity for you guys to get moving. It's kind on the joints, but it actually reduces your body weight. So it's not as good for bone density. You notice how you never talk about, you've probably never seen a conversation where going to the pool and bone density are two things in the same conversation. So please make sure that you do some weight-bearing activity. We get sometimes a little caught up in the lymph thing and we forget about the other long-term benefits. Bones being, there is no setting, there is no program. Bone density is one of the easiest benefits that you can obtain by using a vibration plate regularly, simply by using it and bearing your mass. So whether you're partially weight bearing and you're seated in a stool, or if you are able to stand, a little bit of standing on a regular basis is absolutely going to help improve the bones long term. Julie asked if I could provide a link to my group for fat disorders. You have Hashimoto's. Everybody has Hashimoto's in my group. I swear, I should do some case studies because there's lots of things that research says, can't happen. And I see it every day in my group. I've just dropped the link there for you, Julie, and as well for you, Nancy, if you're not a member, there's some specific support there for you. And I do post a lot of my stuff in Life Pro's pages. So if you're watching this on a recorded basis and you have questions, maybe you want me to do a specific session or you have questions about a certain condition, I tend to play in the medical wheelhouse, although I do a lot of fitness as well. But more of you are dealing with something than aren't. More of you are dealing with some type of deficiency than running marathons. So I really do try to cater to the masses, and my approach is very contradictory, the feed and the speeds and the way that I talk. But because I deal with so many chronic conditions, I want you very clearly to understand you are in control and you can modify the intensity and your experience overall you know, if you can just understand a couple of those factors. Stop looking for a set it and forget it approach. Your body is not cookie cutter. Nor is anyone else out there joining me today. So please reach out. If you do have questions, tag me at Debby with a Y. That's the best way to get my attention and make sure that it doesn't get lost in notifications. And I'm typically live on Mondays. So I try to post the event notice a day or two prior. Keep an eye or look in the events on the main Life Pro page if you're wondering what's coming up. You're welcome, Julie. You're welcome, Nancy. And thank you for posting that, Nancy. I appreciate it. And anyone else out there, I wish you a great start to your week. It is a holiday, so short week for some of you. The key with lymph is when you move, it moves. So use your sauna, use your vibration plate. The beauty of combining them is not only to ramp up results, but for many of you, if you're like me, it's a time thing. I like combining. And once I'm in the mode, I'm more diligent with my discipline. Then, okay, I'll go do my sauna later, because I won't sometimes. So combining it, whether you're using your vibration plate before, after, or as I've suggested, a little bit of both, entirely up to you, but they're going to ramp up the benefits of each other, especially with those lymphatic issues. So prep the pathways. I'll drop that video here shortly as well. I wish you all a fantastic day. Don't work too hard. And thanks for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you guys next week for one more combination session. And I'll get the details posted later towards the end of this week. Have a great rest of your week, guys. Don't work too hard and keep moving. Thanks so much.